I remember the metallic clang that echoed down the block that morning. It wasn't the garbage truck or mail van this time, it was a flatbed stacked with hoses, tools, and a shiny hydraulic excavator. That looked far too serious for a Monday. I stood barefoot in my driveway, coffee in hand, watching the workers unroll bright orange tape like they were marking off a crime scene. Across the street, Mrs. Connors froze mid-sprinkle over her tulips, confusion on her face. Things didn't just happen in our quiet neighborhood. Not until recently. That's when I saw it, two men in reflective vests. Approaching the fire hydrant at the corner of Birch and Clover, the one painted cherry red with a silver cap, worn smooth by decades of storms and kids on bikes. I'd leaned against it after morning runs. I'd hooked my dog's leash there 100 times. I knew that hydrant like an old friend. "Hey fellas," I called. "What are you doing with that?" The younger one, clipboard in hand, didn't even look up. "Work order. HOA's removing it. Landscape update." "Landscape?" I frowned. "That's public infrastructure." He shrugged. "Talk to your board, man. We just do what we're told." By noon, the hydrant was gone, replaced with a bush and a brass plaque reading Community Beautification Phase 1. That's when Dana Whitaker, our HOA president, appeared. Linen blazer, wedge sandals, clipboard entourage. She smiled that polished kind of smile people practice in mirrors. "Good afternoon, Mr. Walker," she said. "Did you sign off on this?" I asked. "On what?" "The hydrant. You removed it." She tilted her head, patronizing. "The city approved it. It's part of our new curb aesthetic." "No, they didn't," I snapped. "Hydrants are required every 500 feet in residential zones. You just removed ours." Dana's expression didn't change. "You're retired, aren't you, Evan? Maybe let the new generation handle things." I stared at her, speechless. I wasn't just some cranky retiree. I was a former fire lieutenant with 30 years of service, 2-unit citations and scars to prove it. "They're not decorations, Dana," I said quietly. "They save lives." She was already walking away. That evening, I combed through the HOA's online minutes. Nothing, not a single mention of hydrant removals, just vague phrases like hardscape revisions and visual upgrades. They'd buried the truth in bureaucracy. So, I started documenting. Photos of the removal sites. Maps of hydrant coverage radii. Copies of fire codes. My old captain confirmed it, removing hydrants without replacement violated State Ordinance 19B. At first, I hoped it was ignorance. A mistake. But the next day, they tore out the hydrant 2 blocks over. Then another. By Friday, every hydrant on our north side was gone, replaced with mulch and reflection gardens. That weekend, the HOA newsletter arrived, front page showing Dana cutting a ribbon at the Serenity Plaza, built on the site of the old Public Works hookup. They weren't beautifying. They were erasing safety itself. I called my old commander, Chief Morales. "You're kidding," he said when I told him. "I wish. Send me photos, everything you've got." That's a lawsuit waiting to happen. By sunset, I had a full dossier, photos, maps, copies of fire code. I sent it off. Then I waited. Instead of an inspection, I got a knock on the door, a compliance officer named Ryan. "Notice of non-compliance," he said flatly. "You violated HOA protocol by filing an external complaint." "You mean reporting a safety hazard?" "It undermines community harmony," he replied. "Self-governing doesn't mean above the law," I snapped. He didn't flinch. "Further violations may result in fines." I watched him walk away, anger boiling beneath my ribs. The next HOA bulletin made my blood run cold. Outdated infrastructure and modern improvements. Why? Fire hydrants are obsolete. Dana herself had written it, quoting a 2009 Fringe study claiming sprinklers were adequate replacements. No mention of response times. No mention of external water access. Just smiles and hydrangeas. That night, at the park where the largest hydrant had stood, I met Dolores Harper, a sharp-eyed woman with a cane. "You're the fireman, right?" she asked. "Was." I said. "You're the only one making noise about this." "Trying to. I had a kitchen fire in '96, she said softly. "Hydrant saved my home. That was the first time I didn't feel alone." Together. We started writing letters, real ones. To the county, to the press, to anyone who would listen. The HOA tried to delete our posts, citing community harmony. I posted again. Then one afternoon. An envelope waited under my mat, official county seal, faded in the autumn light. Inside. "Mr. Walker, preliminary inspections confirmed the HOA removed multiple active hydrants without replacement or notice. This violates Section 19B of the State Fire Code. A compliance investigation has been opened. Deputy Fire Marshal Elise Tran." Vindication. That night, I called the HOA office. "Tell your board," I said evenly, "that the fire marshal will be calling by end of day." The silence was almost satisfying. Within 48 hours, a county sedan appeared outside the HOA office. Someone was asking questions. Dana's tone in the next email changed from smug to nervous. But she wasn't done. A week later, I received another letter, $1,500 fine for undermining community harmony. They even suspended my clubhouse access. So I went to the next HOA enhancement meeting. Rows of folding chairs. Projector slides reading Empowering Unified Vision. Dana wore green, her power color. In response to recent misunderstandings, she said smoothly, "Our updates were fully reviewed by professionals. No formal violations have been issued." I stood. "Has the HOA received a letter from the county fire marshal?" The room froze. "Yes," she said tightly. "We're reviewing it." "So you are under investigation?" "Mr. Walker," she snapped, "you are no longer recognized as a member in good standing." "You removed life-saving equipment," I said, voice steady. "You ignored warnings. You punished whistleblowers. That's not beautification, that's negligence." The room went dead silent. Afterward, Dolores and a few others found me outside. Mr. Graves, a retired chemistry teacher. Geraldine, who ran the church bake sales. 2 younger residents. "You shouldn't stand alone anymore," Dolores said. So we didn't. We formed an informal coalition, retirees, teachers, parents. We gathered documents, mirrored deleted posts, and sent everything to local reporters. Then came the grand opening of the new Meadowbrook Clubhouse, banners, champagne, ribbon cutting. Dana in a navy suit, preaching progress and harmony. But I saw what no one else did, no hydrants. None within 300 feet. Behind the building, half buried in dirt, I found one of the old hydrant bases, twisted metal, rusted, forgotten. That was the moment I knew, they hadn't just ignored safety, they'd buried it. When Ryan, the enforcer, caught me looking, I pointed to the base. "You know what happens when a fire starts and there's no water source?" I asked. He didn't answer. 5 minutes, I said quietly. That's all it takes. 3 weeks later, at 1:37 a.m., the sky turned orange. Flames roared from the clubhouse roof, painting the night in chaos. I ran barefoot toward it, heart pounding, scanner crackling, structure fire, Meadowbrook Community Center fully involved. No hydrants. Nowhere to hook up. I saw Dana, robe half-tied, screaming into her phone, "There's no hydrant. There's no hydrant." And then, a shadow in the second-floor window. Someone trapped. It was Alyssa, the receptionist. I broke through the back door, smoke clawing my lungs, heat searing my face. I found her near the hallway, ankle twisted, coughing. "Come on," I shouted, throwing her arm over my shoulder. We barely made it out before the ceiling collapsed. Sirens wailed. Trucks arrived, but rolled past the building. No hookups. No water. Engine 9's captain looked at me, stunned. "What the hell happened?" "They took them all out," I gasped. 10 minutes later, the clubhouse was gone. Steel groaned, walls fell, flames reached the night sky. By dawn, nothing remained but ash. And silence. Dana sat on the curb, mascara streaked, whispering to no one. The irony was too cruel even for anger. The story broke nationwide within days. Luxury HOA clubhouse burns down after. Hydrants removed for aesthetics. Investigations followed. Lawsuits. Charges. Dana and her board were fined $375,000, banned from holding HOA positions for a decade. The county rebuilt the hydrants. The first stood bright red at Birch and Clover, the very one they'd torn out first. A yellow ribbon fluttered around its cap, no one knew who tied it. Weeks later, residents gathered where the clubhouse once stood. No ribbon cutting this time. Just shovels. A new community garden took root there, green and alive. Dolores taught fire safety classes every Saturday, cane and all. Kids decorated hydrants with ribbons and names, one was called Blazer. When a new family moved in, the father stopped me on my evening walk. "You're Evan Walker, right? The firefighter?" "Guilty," I said. "Thank you for this place." I looked around, laughter, sunlight glinting off red metal, life returning. "Don't thank me," I said. "Thank the fire for showing us what needed to burn away. Because in the end, we didn't just rebuild a neighborhood. We reclaimed its soul. And this time, we made sure the hydrants stayed."